Let me ask you something and answer it honestly. No sugarcoating. Do you ever lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, replaying all the things you should have done by now? And no matter how hard you've worked, no matter what you've survived, there's that voice in your head whispering, not enough. Still not enough. Yeah, I know that voice. Too well. And I know you do too, even if you don't say it out loud. Here's what no one tells you. Almost everyone, no matter how successful they seem, is dragging around that same invisible weight, that creeping feeling of falling behind, of somehow failing at life, even when you're doing your absolute best to keep it together. It's exhausting, right? Like lugging around a bag of bricks every damn day. You wake up, brush your teeth, and bam, scroll through a feed full of wins. New job, new house, engagement. That one guy from high school, who's now inexplicably a yacht influencer. And before you even realize it, your brain kicks into this twisted math. If they're there, and I'm here, I must be failing. Never mind that your journey, your battles, your context are totally different. Never mind that Instagram is a highlight reel and you're living the full, messy, behind the scenes cut. That toxic logic? Automatic. And it's not just social media, it's baked into how we were raised. Remember school? Gold stars, grades, trophies, everything boiled down to winning or falling short. Families had scripts too. Get the degree, get the job, get married, buy a house, retire, die. Neat little boxes to check. And if your life didn't line up, the message was clear. Something's wrong with you. Layer in the self-help noise and hustle culture that tells you you're wasting potential if you're not constantly improving, and boom, we've all been marinating in this belief from day one. You are not enough. Not doing enough, not achieving enough, not being enough. And here's the kicker. Even when you do hit a goal, that voice moves the goalpost. Congrats, but why aren't you pushing harder? What's next? It never ends. The cruelest part? We think it's just us, that everyone else has cracked the code and we're the only ones drowning in self-doubt. But let me tell you something that shattered my own illusion. Everybody feels this, even the people you admire most. I had a friend, amazing career, beautiful family, looks like they're nailing life. And one day over coffee, they just blurted out, I feel like I'm failing all the time. I was floored, but that's when it hit me. Oh, this never fully goes away. Because it's not actually about achievements. It's about the story we've been fed our whole lives. That our worth is tied to what we produce. That we have to earn our space in this world. And that is why it feels so heavy. Because deep down, you're not just chasing success. You're chasing permission to feel worthy. You're chasing proof that you deserve to exist, to rest, to just be. And I'm here to tell you something that might piss you off, but will set you free. That's a rigged game. It's designed to keep you hustling, doubting, striving, and never resting. Because if you ever did stop and realize, wait, I'm already enough, the whole machine falls apart. The self-help industry, the ads that prey on your insecurities, the culture that keeps you small, they depend on you believing that lie. I get it. This is a hard truth. It means that thing you've been chasing, finally enough, isn't out there waiting for you. It's something you reclaim again and again from inside. And it's messy. It's uncomfortable. It's not some magical one-time epiphany. It's a daily rebellion, a gritty, courageous practice of refusing to let the noise tell you who you are. And right now, I just want you to see it. To name that crushing weight for what it is. To stop pretending it's normal or fair or something you have to carry forever. Because here's the truth. You are not failing. You're not broken. You are not behind. You are human. And yeah, you've been swimming in a sea of not enough messages your whole life. But now you're waking up. And that alone, that awareness, is your first quiet act of freedom. So breathe. Really let it sink in. You've been carrying a weight that was never yours to carry. And in the next chapter, we're going to start learning how to put it down. All right, so we've talked about that crushing, not enough weight. and the invisible wins you're racking up without even realizing it. But now we've got to tackle something huge, something that messes with almost everyone I know. Let's talk about the struggle. You know exactly what I mean. The nights you cry in your car, the days you can't focus, can't figure out what the hell you're doing with your life, the moments you feel totally stuck, lost, overwhelmed, or flat out broken. And the worst part? When you're in it, your brain loves to tell you, see, this is proof you're failing. Normal people don't feel this way. You're a mess. Sound familiar? Yeah. Let's shut that lie down right now. Because here's the truth. Struggle equals growth. Period. End of story. And I get it. It doesn't feel like growth. Growth sounds all nice and clean and Instagrammable, right? Little plants, fresh starts, glow up energy. But real growth? Real growth is brutal. It's messy. It looks like confusion. It feels like pain. It feels like you're breaking apart. Because in a way, you are. You're breaking apart the old version of you, the version that was small, safe, familiar. And your brain hates that. See, our brains are wired to love the familiar, even if that familiar thing sucks, even if it's toxic, draining, or holding us back. It's like your brain would rather sit in a burning house than step outside into the unknown. So the second you start to stretch, to reach for something bigger or healthier or braver, your brain freaks out. It throws a tantrum. It says, nope, nope, nope. This feels weird and scary. Let's go back to what we know. And that's when the struggle kicks in. The fear, the doubt, the voice saying, you're not cut out for this. Turn back now. But guess what? That pain, that confusion, that overwhelming discomfort, that's the sign you're doing it right. Think about it like working out. When you're lifting heavier weights, your muscles literally tear before they rebuild stronger. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. But it's also the exact process that makes you grow. Life's the same way. Emotional growth, mental growth, spiritual growth, it all comes with a stretch. And stretches hurt. They feel awkward, but they mean you're expanding beyond what you used to be. Here's the trick. Most people don't realize this. They hit that wall of struggle and think, oh no, this means I'm on the wrong path. So they shrink back down. They stay small, safe. All right, let's get into something that seriously changes everything. Micro wins. Those tiny victories that seem too small to matter, but spoiler alert, they matter big time. We all dream about the big wins, life-changing moments when everything shifts. But real transformation? It's built on the small stuff. The daily choices no one sees, the hard little moments when you could check out, but you don't. Ever set a boundary even though it made you sweat? Win. Ever made that awkward phone call you were dreading? Win. Ever showed up to therapy, the gym, or a meeting when every part of you wanted to ghost? Huge. Win. We brush these off because they don't look impressive. But every time you follow through, especially when it's hard, you're sending yourself a message. I can trust myself. I do hard things. That's how you change from the inside out. I'll give you a quick example. A while back, I had to have a tough convo with a close friend, one of those, ugh, let's just avoid this forever situations. But I did it. I was shaky, awkward, full of self-doubt. But I said what I needed to say. Did I feel amazing after? Nope. I felt anxious for days. But deep down, I felt stronger. That tiny win made the next hard convo easier. And the one after that, easier still. That's how courage builds, one rep at a time. And it's not just big conversations, micro wins show up everywhere. Choosing a walk over scrolling, making a real meal instead of junk, sending the follow-up email you've been dreading, finally booking that doctor's appointment. Yeah, that one. These seem small, but they stack up. They shift your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who avoids hard things and start seeing someone who shows up. Here's the best part. Micro wins are sustainable. They're how real, lasting change happens. Not in one giant leap, but in hundreds of tiny steps. So here's your mission. Notice them, write them down, celebrate them. Even the messy ones count. Because one day soon, you'll look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. You've leveled up one small win at a time. Next up, we're going deep on comparison, how it's quietly wrecking your progress, and how to shut it down for good. Stick with me. All right, it's time to drag something out into the light. Something that every single one of us has fallen into, the comparison vortex. You know exactly what I mean. One minute you're just living your life, minding your business, maybe even feeling okay about where you're at. And the next, boom, you're sucked into the black hole of other people's highlight reels. Scroll, scroll, scroll. New job, engagement, exotic vacation, six-pack abs. That random guy from high school who now owns a crypto empire and a private island somehow. And suddenly, your own life, your perfectly fine life, feels sad, small, embarrassing even. It's like, wow, I was feeling good about making spaghetti for dinner, but apparently I should have been starting a tech company in my spare time? Yeah, that spiral. It's brutal. And it's sneaky too, because it feels so normal. We don't even realize how much it's messing with us until we're neck deep in self-doubt and wondering if we've wasted our entire existence. Let's get something straight. Comparison is human. Our brains are literally wired to scan and measure where we fit in the tribe. Back in the caveman days, that kept us alive. But now, it just makes us miserable. And social media? Oh man, it's like pouring gasoline on that fire. Because you're not comparing your real life to someone else's real life. You're comparing your behind the scenes mess to their perfectly curated, photoshopped, filter drenched highlight reel. It's not even a fair fight. And let's be real, even when we know this, it still gets us. Because logic doesn't stand a chance when your insecurities are flaring up. You can be like, I know it's fake, I know it's just for show, and still feel like a failure. The worst part, comparison is a moving target. Even if you hit a goal, get the job, the house, the whatever, you'll immediately find someone else who's doing it bigger, faster, shinier. It never ends. So, how do we break out? How do we stop this endless loop of feeling less than? First, catch it in the act. Awareness is everything. Next time you feel that familiar stomach drop of, ugh, I suck compared to them, pause. Literally say to yourself, ah, there it is. Comparison brain kicking in. Call it out. Don't let it slither around unchecked. Second, zoom out. Remind yourself that you are seeing one tiny sliver of this person's life. You don't see their debt, their anxiety, their sleepless nights, their fights with their partner. You see the photo shoot, not the messy dressing room. Third, and this is huge, bring it back to you. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, ask, what's actually important to me? What am I working toward? Because chances are, half the stuff you're comparing yourself to, you don't even want. You're just getting swept up in shiny object syndrome. Like, do I really care about having a private jet? Nope. But if I stare at rich people TikTok long enough, suddenly I'm like, maybe I am failing because I don't have a landing strip in my backyard. It's wild how fast your brain can trick you into chasing things that don't even matter to your actual values. And last tip, curate your inputs. If certain accounts or people always leave you feeling like crap, mute them. Unfollow. Protect your mental space like it's sacred. Because it is. Follow people who inspire you without making you feel small. Fill your feed with reminders of what you value, not just what's trendy. Bottom line, comparison is unavoidable sometimes, but it doesn't have to own you. You can build the skill of catching it, questioning it, and letting it pass, without letting it wreck your self-worth. And the more you practice that, the freer you become. In the next chapter, we're shifting gears to talk about something really exciting, the quiet superpowers you've been building this whole time. Whether you realize it or not, you're going to love this one. Let's be real here. You ever feel like you're just flailing, like you're stumbling through life, making it up as you go, low key convinced everyone else got some secret instruction manual you definitely missed, crying in your car, doubting yourself on a daily basis, wondering if you're screwing everything up. Yeah, that. Guess what? That's not failure. That's not proof you're broken. That is exactly what growth looks like. I know it's messy. I know it feels awful. But hear me out. Nobody transforms their life in a straight, clean line. No one. Growth is awkward. It's confusing. It feels like you're falling apart half the time. And honestly, sometimes you are falling apart so you can put yourself back together in a new way. We've been taught that figuring it out means being calm, confident, and totally in control. But the truth? The real magic happens in the mess. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you will feel wobbly. That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're stretching. You're doing something new. And of course, it feels weird. It's like learning to ride a bike. You wobble, you fall, you question all your life choices. But little by little, you get stronger. You stop tipping over so much. You find your balance. Same with personal growth. I've had so many moments, ugly cry moments, total meltdown moments, where I thought, I must be failing. No one else is this much of a disaster. But looking back, those were my biggest breakthroughs in disguise. So if you feel lost or messy right now, if you're doubting everything, breathe. You're not off track. You're not alone. You are in it, exactly where you're supposed to be. Flailing is part of the process. It means you're moving, and that means you're growing. Keep going. All right, let's get into something super important: how to actually see your own progress. Because here's the thing, so much of the growth we go through is quiet. It's easy to miss. And if you don't train yourself to notice it, you'll convince yourself nothing's changing, even when it totally is. So, how do you spot it? First step, look for what feels different, not just what looks different. Have you handled a situation recently that would have wrecked you a year ago? That's growth. Maybe you bounced back from rejection faster. Maybe you stood up for yourself when you used to stay quiet. It might not be something flashy, but that emotional shift? Huge. Second, track your patterns. This is where a journal or a notes app becomes gold. Write down little things, moments when you made a different choice, when you caught yourself mid-negative spiral and redirected, when you followed through on something hard. Over time, you'll look back and be like, wow, I've come so far. Third, ask people you trust. Sometimes the people close to us notice our growth before we do. A friend might say, hey, you seem way calmer these days. Or, you've really been setting boundaries lately. Don't brush that off, and that's real evidence. Fourth, and this one's big, check your inner dialogue. Do you talk to yourself with more kindness now? More patience? Even if it's just a little bit? That's progress. Because the way we speak to ourselves is a reflection of how much we've grown. And finally, celebrate the small stuff. Seriously, we're way too quick to dismiss things like, well, I only did a little bit, or it's not that big of a deal. Stop that. Every step counts. Every tiny win matters. Make it a habit to acknowledge yourself, even for the things no one else sees. The more you do that, the easier it gets to recognize just how far you've come. And spoiler alert, you've come a lot further than you think. In the next chapter, we're shining a light on the deep superpowers you've been building through all this work, stuff that's going to carry you through whatever comes next. Stay with me. Okay, now let's pull back the curtain. Because while you've been busy flailing, doubting, and pushing through all the messy stuff, you've been building something incredible. And I'm betting you don't even realize it yet. What you've been building is power. Quiet, deep, unseen power. The kind that doesn't show up in selfies or get you claps at dinner parties, but changes everything. Let's break it down. First up, courage. Every single time you did something hard, whether it was setting a boundary, showing up when you wanted to hide, or simply getting through a brutal day, you built courage. And courage isn't loud. It's not always heroic or Instagrammable. Most of the time, it's just choosing not to quit. That's what makes it real. Then there's self-trust. This one's huge. Every little promise you kept to yourself, every time you listened to your gut instead of outside noise, you strengthened that trust. And let me tell you, when you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Because no matter what life throws at you, you know you've got your own back. And let's not forget wisdom. All those challenges you faced, all the mistakes you've learned from, that's wisdom being built. Slowly, painfully sometimes. But it's there. And it becomes your inner compass, your built-in guide for whatever comes next. The best part? These muscles, courage, self-trust, wisdom, they don't fade. They don't disappear when life gets hard again. They're yours. They're permanent. And they are the foundation for everything you're about to build in the future. So even if your life looks the same on the surface right now, even if you're thinking, Joe, where's the proof? Trust me, it's there. You are stronger, braver, wiser, more prepared than you've ever been. And all of that quiet work, it's going to pay off in ways you can't even see yet. In the next and final chapter, we're going to wrap this up with a reminder of just how ready you really are and why your best is still ahead. You don't want to miss it. All right, here we are, the final chapter. And if you've stuck with me this far, I need you to really hear this. You are more ready than you think. I know that voice in your head has been telling you you're not, that you need to fix more things, learn more, heal more, be more, before you're allowed to step into whatever's next. But that voice, it's lying to you. Because here's what's true. Everything you've been through, the struggle, the flailing, the tiny wins, the quiet growth, it's been shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more equipped than you realize. You've built resilience. You've learned how to get back up again and again, even when no one was watching. You've built self-awareness. You know yourself more deeply now. What matters to you, what you need, what you're no longer willing to tolerate. You've built courage. Not the loud, flashy kind, the quiet, unshakable kind that whispers, keep going, even on the hardest days. And you've built trust. Trust in yourself. Trust that no matter how messy life gets, you have what it takes to face it. That is real power. That is what makes you ready. Not perfection. Not having all the answers. But showing up exactly as you are. And taking the next step, even if your hands are shaking. That's all readiness ever is. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you act as if you're ready, the more you become ready. Confidence grows through action. Strength grows through doing. And you are already in motion. So no matter what comes next, no matter what dream you're chasing, what challenge you're facing, what changes around the corner, remember this, you are not behind. You are not unprepared. You are not lacking. You are ready, right now, exactly as you are. And you are doing so much better than you think. Keep going. You've got this.